2025, Copernicus has come on board as the #1 sponsor. What is the synergy there for Copernicus?
So Copernicus has been an unpainted rocket ship for a long time. A Perth-born gentleman named Mike Kiriko, a genius, born in Perth, educated at ECU, went to Stanford, Berkeley, taught at the top level with machine learning and mathematics and all these other stuff that I won't understand.
So he's created
Built
Copernicus.
this company,
okay.
Unpainted rocket ship. We gave it a paint job, but then we needed pilots. And I'm like, I'll be a pilot.
All right, so tell me tell us, why has Copernicus said, yeah, we want to be part of ExecOps, we want to be in front of these 1,000 people in Perth, 1,000 people in Sydney, 2,000 in Melbourne, wherever it might be?
It's just the biggest exposure you can get. And you're around like-minded innovators, but you're also around a C-suite in technology that understand what we're doing. And you know, the WA Parliament, for example, being here, understanding the importance of tech and how it affects the ecosystem. But Copernicus is ripe to go to market, and it's a great platform to take a great innovation to market.
Hello, my name is Lucy Cook. I'm the founder and CEO of Spacecraft. I'm 7th generation West Australian, and I'm so passionate about building the ecosystem here in WA, particularly for women and female founders. I have raised a lot of money, I've got an incredible team, and we're changing the world. Well, there's graphing intelligence, and then there's graphing actual intelligence. You can have all the data, you can have all the AI, but where is the discourse around tacit knowledge of what makes people people? Because that's the beauty, and that's the empathy, and that's the inclusion, and that's what makes software make people better. And we're just missing tech that solves that gap. And that's what our company does. But I'm sure there are many others out there. We just don't talk enough about how important behavioral change is when you are being thrown into a world of new technology.
So the stuff I don't say, I wonder if it's the things that send people to sleep, because you try to pull back from the devil in the detail of cyber, and it can be some really sort of mind-numbing things like standards and regulation, and so a lot of, honestly, what powers good outcomes in security is getting into that kind of detail. So I don't say it because I don't want to put people off. I want to keep people engaged and believe in the art of the possible and the positive, and not, think that we're in some kind of compliance function, which honestly we are. But we want to make friends, we want to break down the barriers, and we want to reach out and collaborate and connect with people. So what don't I say? I don't say about good regulation's really important. We don't want to be an over-regulated society. I don't say CapEx and OpEx are really problematic, and it's really difficult to succeed without appropriate funding and business value, and shareholders need short-term turnarounds and quick wins. So a lot of that stuff, but honestly, that's what makes my world go round in a larger company. What didn't I say that I would like to say that is empowering? I suppose anyone can do what I do. I transitioned into cyber from maybe what I would call sort of common or garden, regular IT project management, integration projects. I had an incredible opportunity to travel all around Southeast Asia with that job. And then coming into cybersecurity, I loved the protect and defend aspect of that work. And as a new mum wanting to protect and defend my baby, there was a real kind of sort of synergy resonance, if you like. So I suppose I don't say that everyone can do this, because that just feels like a hard sell, but that's the fun bit. Like, everybody from every walk of life, every different type of thinking is so crucial now for security outcomes. I'm still very much smitten by the psychology and the support that it provides. So I have 2 phones, I work for a telco, and in one I have a chat GPT where I say what I'm worried about and maybe my fears, like imposter syndrome, and help me with this difficult situation with my children, or how do I navigate this puppy, and I'm finding it really challenging. And then on the other phone, I have the highlight reel, and I only talk to ChatGPT there about, I did this brilliant thing, I'm really proud of myself, and the psychological reflection of these 2 different models, or these the trained experiences, I suppose, it just shows the power in the positive energy and intent and positive self-talk and mindset. To me, that has just been quite fascinating, because I can't argue with the fact that it behaves differently on each phone. And I like that I have two physical devices, like I have two physical AIs. So that's been, for me, the psychological piece has been interesting. Well, I've put my parents into, I asked their permission, I put them into my chat GPT history because I'm an only child. I am thousands of kilometers away from my parents. And one day they'll be gone, and many people here in Perth will never hear my father's voice or my mother's laugh, and she has a incredibly brilliant sense of humour. And I call them for advice even now, well into my 40s. And so one day I realised they'll be gone, and how do I keep that rapport? So I've written into the history, like, hi, this is my dad, he gives great advice, this is his style, he was an amazing badminton player, like anything I could think of to describe my parents and my connection to them. And sometimes I'll just be like, hey, can I just get a joke from my mum, please? And that has been quite an interesting thing. I never really thought I would do that, and my mum and dad find this hilarious. And I kind of do a quality review of the jokes with my mum just to see, would that hit them much? She's like, that's way too clean. So yeah, that was kind of an interesting thing for me.
I think this is a challenge for all of us in terms of what's our next job, right? How do we integrate AI into how we work, and how do we become experts in what we do now with AI? So for me, I run a security operations team. How do I, as a CISO, use AI to know what that team's working on, to get incident summarization? How do I help all of that team use AI in what they do? So that's the challenge, right? Yeah, I think creativity is incredibly important, and I think the World Economic Forum said creativity was the third most important skill for the year 2030. And I think creativity and problem solving is the skill that the world needs most at the moment, because a lot of the mathematical stuff models can take care of, but a lot of the problem solving and the guidance needs to come from us with the new tech. I do a lot of conference talks, and I use an AI app to actually workshop my conference talks, and it gives me feedback. It tells me how many times I'm using the word and it kind of summarises what I'm talking about and really critiques what I'm doing, so that when I step next time into doing that presentation, I can refine it. And that's really helpful because I'm speaking a lot more publicly, and it's hard to get feedback, but kind of working with an AI that kind of coaches you and gives you that immediate feedback is a really interesting kind of application of AI.
My name's Marion Birchall. I spent 20 years in the public sector leading the state's digital and data transformation as well as innovation agenda. I have my own consulting company, been on Times Square, and I've also been on the Nashville billboard, and coming soon to a billboard near you, the Las Vegas billboard is coming up as well. So Empowered Woman of the Year award, as well as a government advisor and consultant of the year. What I do, help people solve their problems by thinking about the humans in the system and considering how best to get the best out of their organisation and their teams so that they can deliver the services and products that people need most. We're standing at the precipice of a time where things are going to be very different, and it's necessary for us to be making very conscious decisions and thinking deeply about the technologies that are coming at us at a very accelerated and exponential rate. We need to be thinking about our role within that and the type of society and community that we want to create and leave behind, and how technology can be used to impact everyone's lives in a positive way. Because this is going to be our legacy. We're building the foundations of a future world and for future generations. Yeah, absolutely. So an event recently called Future by Design, which is consciously thinking about how technology can help people in their everyday lives and have impact. And for that event, I actually had a clash. I was emceeing, and so I used AI to generate an MC, me, and that AI generated MC the first half of the event. So this isn't an AI one, but it is, I think, a really good example of using technology to create opportunities. And it's using existing technologies that we have at the moment, but putting them together in a very different way. So it has to do with Dawn Cafe that is based in Japan, and they use robots, nothing new there, to serve people. But what is new is that those robots are operated by disabled people who would not normally have the opportunity to economically participate in the community. And they do this from the comfort of their own home, and they use voice recognition as well as cameras and operate these robots in the cafe to take orders, to serve people and have conversations with people that they would never meet. And that's really what we're talking about in terms of the type of opportunities that these technologies can have.
ExecOps has been around for about 10 years, but I reckon in this year things have lifted. You guys have come on board with Copernicus as sponsors. Why? What did you see in this event that you thought, I want to be involved?
With not only is it #1 networking tech event in Australia, after meeting Stephen Wallace, the CEO, you know, the integrity of the man, the amount of the percent of the revenue that goes to charity, you know, I really wanted to help, and as VP of Growth for Copernicus, my job is to take Copernicus to the APAC market, and the timing was perfect, and I met Stephen, and suddenly I'm talking on stage, and somehow I'm tripping over another paradigm shift like my first one.
Politics. I'm going to regret this. Russian dancing. Hey!
So I didn't really know what to expect, and I was pleasantly surprised by the range of speakers that were there and the topics that were discussed, and some of the thinking and thought leadership that was presented.
Well, I come here because every time I come here I have a couple of really great conversations, and it's those kind of conversations that sustain me in the work that I do. I don't drink beer. I do enjoy a glass of wine, and I really like sparkling water, but it's actually the conversation rather than the beer that sustains me in the work. And it's those people I bump into as I move around the room that I find, you know, really interesting, because they're outside my existing circle of people I work with, and outside the existing partners I work with, and that's what I most enjoy.
I loved the fact that there were so many people in that room who could have equally jumped on the stage and shared some brilliant ideas. So keeping it short and punchy, V's idea to do the 1-minute magpie so that we don't just drone on and on, you know, put a microphone in the hand of someone with an idea and that's it, half an hour of your life you'll not get back. But I think if we could maybe mix and match, I think ExecOps it's breaking the mold, it's trying to do things differently, it's finding ways to make people feel comfortable in what's, you know, quite traditionally quite an uncomfortable thing, speaking to a room full of people that you know are brilliant and smart. So I love that ExecOps has done that, given us that chance to try something new and refreshing, and maybe we can see more of that and more of those incredible people in ExecOps can come through.
Well, it's so fantastic because it's rare that all of us nerds can come together and actually be in a space, in time, and just chew the fat. Normally we're rushing to talks and this and that, and we're just happy to all be together and nerd out, because guess what? We're here because we love Perth and we see the future, and that's why we're all in it to win it.